Maneva na say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there osia dem yopo.
Let me just ask you this on this matter.
I mean, if those taking the matter to the Supreme Court for interpretation are well within their rights, and MPP communicators discussing the matter are well within their rights, why is the President of the Republic of Ghana not well within his rights to refute, the claim? And everybody is within their rights. In fact, he's more within his rights than anybody else.
But she claims that the exercise of that right is funding the conversation. That's why we're here.
How can it fund the conversation?
That's where she's coming from.
When he's been consistent in his refusal of, this, I can't even find a word to, that is being constantly thrown at him. From day one, he has not started. He hasn't, very unequivocal in his stance on the matter. There has been no ambiguity. In fact, there's no position he stated ever more, confidently and clearly as this one. He has been very, very, very consistent from day one. Nothing, not even a scintilla of ambiguity can be, pointed at him on this matter. And yet every day, there's a new angle to the matter he says doesn't exist. Every day there's a new angle, and you dismissed this person, and you took that, and then people are connecting non-existent dots, and chasing their own tails and trying. And the man says, I am not interested. Listen, I am all for accountability. Every government should be held accountable. But can we hold this government accountable to its results and not to rumors? Can we do that? He says, I am interested in delivering for Ghanaians today, not campaigning for tomorrow. People are like, no, you did that. So this must mean this. Come on. How more loud do you want him to be? Like, what else do you want him to hear? You want him to sign it with his blood? I don't understand this conversation, honestly. The Constitution is clear. The President has been clear. You're talking about this Constitutional Review Committee and, how more transparent do you want the conversation to be? There's a Constitutional Review Committee. Its report also supports the position of the President, supports the position of the Constitution, says you can't be more than a 2-term. I mean, what are we saying? How more transparent do you want the process to be? So please, let's let this matter rest. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama has already told us that this would be his legacy term. This is somebody that has been involved in a democratic process from the lowest end of the hierarchy. Right? He has contributed his quota to building a democracy for how many years now? In every sphere, from DC, Member of Parliament, Deputy Minister, Minister.
You mean as an assemblyman?
Thank you, as an assemblyman, right? He's telling you even today that he spent a lot of time reading the Constitution, and even that has been a problem. Why is he reading the Constitution? Why is your President reading the Constitution? Right? So please, this man, His Excellency, President John Dramani Mahama, will not go down in history as the supreme leader. His words. He says, I will not go down in history as a supreme leader. He is not about to tarnish years of public service by suddenly becoming undemocratic. Somebody we've always known as a consummate Democrat. It's not today. After serving as president twice, where the people of Ghana themselves are chasing him and begging him to come back. It's not today that he's about to soil his legacy. So please, let the matter rest. The president says, I will not. The Constitution says, you should not. The Constitutional Review Committee says, you should not. Even the NDC that Lawuratu speaks about. What is the NDC saying? What are the executives, the top executives of the party saying? Let's quote someone like the Honorable Fifi Kweti. What is the party saying? Everybody is clear on this matter, but for MPP communicators. Everybody is clear. So please, much ado about nothing. Rest. There's no issue here.
I see. So the arrest of Miracles and some other spokespersons of communicators of the MPP is not connected to gagging people from commenting on this item agenda.
Correct me. Has he not been arrested to account for his stewardship of a public entity? How does that have anything to do with the tenure of a president? I mean, clearly, everything is going well in Ghana. We don't have anything to talk about, honestly. We don't have conversation. Right. We don't have any scandals to talk about. We don't have, So we sit and think, what did we talk about?
Okay.
Let's plug non-existent issues from the sky. Come on.
All right. So Pratt and Laura said we should move on, so we'll move on. The president has made a definitive pronouncement on this matter. I guess that they should rest it. He said he's not interested, so let's move on with our lives. But there's one other issue which we cannot move on with. We cannot move on with our lives, even though it's been passed in Parliament, because there are still issues. Civil society organizations and labor unions are very uncomfortable with the passage of this bill. It's called the Tribunals Bill. It was passed on Thursday by a majority. Well, not the majority. It was passed by only the majority in Parliament because the minority walked out. Since then, there have been all kinds of issues. So I see there are legal constitutional issues, there are financing issues, and there are also whether the basis for even activating this tribunal matter. And I'm saying activating because it's already in the law. It's not like we're bringing it. It's not new. It's there. We're just activating it. Whether the basis for activating is even sufficient, based on the data. And you look at the types of cases that tribunal is going to be looking at, and whether those are the kinds of cases that have choked the courts to the point where we need to create some other layers for those institutional layers to deal with them, And then I also see some other issues of history. Okay, history and the fact that there are historical memories embedding which doesn't make it, some people feel comfortable with the name tribunal. You look at this particular bill, quite clearly you can see that sufficient safeguards, or as some would say guardrails, have been inputted in it in order to protect people. So for instance, after the adjudication, you can still go to the appellate court. If you're not satisfied, you can go all the way to the Supreme Court. Unlike what existed in the past, once you're dealt with at the tribunal, you don't even have any opportunity to go and seek for some kind of redress. So a lot has changed. So what really is the concern? What really is the basis for this anxiety? What really is the basis for this apprehension that some of your colleagues have about this tribunal? I mean, we should rather be happy that now we have more avenues to deal with people who are tormenting our environment, the galamsey people who are evading taxes, people who are into narcotics, etc., etc. Why aren't you rather happy? Why are you rather concerned, Laura?
Well, this morning your choice of words is quite interesting. But I wanted to ask you, Anama, have you read the recommendations of the Constitutional Review Committee? It's against it. Have you read in fact, all three. Have you read the memorandum that the Attorney General sent for this bill? Right. And let us be emphatic. Dr. Bawumia sought to amplify the voices of Ghanaians. Right. Let's be clear on that. It's no anxiety from us. It's not we trying to find fault. I must say this, it's important to have a broader consultation. If the government had listened to TUC, if they had listened to GBA, I don't think Dr. Bawumia would have come out to amplify what they were saying. It's because they were ignored. And these are the people these things affect. And let's also have it on record that Dr. Bawumia is not seeking to stampede anything. He's amplifying the voices of Ghanaians, and we know what the TUC stands for. We know what the Ghana Bar Association stands for. They are part of the Judicial Council. So if these people are talking, and a man who has the interest of Ghana at heart and seeks and aspires to lead this country again, he will not sit aside and let the chaos happen and assume that he'll come and fix it when he gains the realms of power. That is not the mark of a conscientious leader. He didn't come out to stampede anything. He didn't come out looking to cause trouble. He just amplified the concerns of Ghanaians. That was done mainly through TUC and the Ghana Bar Association. And these are the custodians of most of the laws we have in this country.
Right.
So when you go to the recommendations, one of his focal points was the recommendation from the Constitution Review Committee, and they were explicit. And if you indulge me, under regional tribunals 4.19, the committee recommends that the regional tribunals be de-established from the Constitution. The committee notes that the High Court has been handling the caseload of regional tribunals. The resources to be committed to resuscitating the moribund regional tribunals could be channeled to resource the High Court, as well as the circuit and district courts that the committee now proposes to make part of the regular judiciary. Moreover, jurisdiction of the circuits could be expanded to take on some of the cases that the regional tribunals will ordinarily hear. This is more progressive than proposing tribunals, especially with the historical antecedents. There are still people living who are victims of tribunals. What is it? It's to fast track cases, right? We've come a long way by having all these levels of courts and also having specialized courts. So if we have money to set up tribunals, wouldn't it be prudent to put it in the setup? And that is what is recommended. And it was the president himself that set up this committee, just as Dr. Bawumia alluded to. Then when you go to the memorandum, you see, it's like, you know this is trouble, but you still want to push it. In the opening paragraph of the Attorney General's memorandum, second paragraph, owing to the nature and operation of public tribunals in the past, it is well known that tribunals have a long history in Ghana and remain a sensitive topic. So in 2026, why do you want to introduce 1970 ideas? Are we moving forward or are we moving back? So where do we put it? I'm going to mention PNDC Law 24 and PNDC Law 78. In 1992, the framers of the Constitution compromised because the assumption was that it wasn't entirely bad, but needed to be regulated. So put it under the Judicial Service. But down the road till now, it's lost its relevance because of some of the atrocities. It was virtually synonymous to kangaroo courts. So why do we know this, and we still want to go back? And you see, more, these are some of the things that breeds the kind of speculation that you term anxiety and fear. You know what this means to people. So all Dr. Bawumia is saying is, look, pause. Let's do a broader consultation Because even in Parliament, where our representatives are there, the due process wasn't fully followed. They cut some of the steps. There was no vote at the committee level. So it's a blatant lie for anybody to say that our members on the committee supported the bill. Some of our members were even giving the bill, the copy of the bill, at plenary to do this to ourselves in 2026.
So Laura, you don't believe the drafters of the bill when they say to resolve the perception associated with tribunals being noted by alleged abuses of the PNDC era and perceived as tools of political oppression, the bill proposes a fundamentally different approach by situating the tribunals within the constitutional framework, something that didn't exist in the past, ensuring accountability and respect for the rule of law. The bill does this through establishing clear operational guidelines and oversight mechanisms to prevent abuses and ensure transparency. It would complement the work of the traditional courts working hand in hand to ensure proper and effective administration of justice. You don't believe that?
PNDC Law 24. Was it just someone saying it was a law that was abused? PNDC Law 78. Was it not a law? Was it not added to the judiciary and in the 1992 Constitution?
Right.
Was it still not abused? Can we say some for our traditional courts? Can we say same for our specialized courts? So why do we want to create this kind of situation that is avoidable? And in doing that, even the way of doing it even makes it suspect. That you stampede it and pass it. The appeal is from Dr. Bawumia is pause. Do broader consultation because the CRC consulted Ghanaians. Correct me if I'm wrong. The CRC consulted Ghanaians.
Yeah, they did.
And this was the recommendation they made. So what's this rush to pass this bill? What do they want to do with it? It's interesting. Ama goes with trying to bring in Galamsey. What was their promise? That the people who were on the field were not the ones to be arrested. It was the financiers. When you go and mention, they'll mention, oh, we have room to me. But since 7 January to date, what have they done truly to keep Galamsey? Then you quickly come and rush this bill. And you think that we should be happy? Yes. Forget about, and Dr. Bawumia stated emphatically, this is not a political request. It's a request in the interest of Ghana and amplifying the voice of Ghanaians, TUC and Ghana Bar Association. So if you are not listening to these people, definitely as someone who has the interest of this country at heart and knows what history gets, and to quote him. And I was saying that, look, Moro, just as history tells us what was done in the name of tribunals and the atrocities that were committed with it, and the weaponization of sin. To quote Dr. Bawumia, history will not ask how many votes a law received. It will ask whether the law is just, equitable, and seeks to promote and protect the interests of Ghanaians. That will be the question in years to come. Will this bill stand that test? Okay. Especially when you are ignoring the voices of TUC. Today we are discussing it because Dr. Bawumia has amplified it. And probably wouldn't have gotten here if they had paid heed to the recommendation of the CRC and listened to the TUC and the GBA. Okay.
Let me read some messages and then we're almost done. Let me bring you my viewers. I beg you. Okay. I beg you. I know you need some 2 minutes to wrap up. So Sam Aku Kelly, he's watching the show and he has his thoughts to share. He says that, he says, good morning, Moro. I think it's important that we all broaden the conversation on how to deal with the huge numbers of cases pending at our courts. To the ordinary Ghanaian walking in the streets, the issue is not about how many lawyers or courtrooms we have in this country. It's about the inordinate desire of our lawyers and, in fact, our justice system to prolong and unjustifiably delay cases in court to their benefit. The unspoken and unwritten truth You know, I tell you what, it's not the judges who enjoy prolonging the cases. Sometimes it's the prosecution. You know, and sometimes the defendants, all these interlocutory injunctions and things that are being filed, all kinds of things. It's just like how the law operates. You know, yes, it's a legitimate concern that you take a matter to court, it takes forever. It's very frustrating. Sometimes by the time the matter is decided upon, the worst has already happened. You know, but we've got to have a deeper conversation on how to deal with it. I think that's where we are, whether it's a tribunal system, which is the answer or the solution, or there are other ways. I think that's where we are as a people. That's the conversation we need to have. And now, but you must also understand the NDC. The NDC has a social contract with the people. They put in their manifesto and they went to campaign, and Ghanaians voted for them overwhelmingly. Do you expect the party to say, well, because some people have some concerns, we have to tick that box? Because their critics will come in 2020 and say, you said you do A, B, C, D. You've not done X, Y, Z. They ought to be able to respond to Ghanaians and say we've done all of that. So it's a very complex matter. Anyway, let me finish with the messages. It says, to the ordinary Ghanaian walking the street, the issue is not about how many lawyers, And it goes ahead to say that the unspoken and written truth is that the more cases delay in court, the more the opportunity for them to line their pockets. As a developing democracy, why is it not possible for us to set timelines for various categories of cases and deal with them expeditiously, quite? So simply put, we are the creators of our own challenges and predicaments. Reverend Samuel J says, I do agree with your question. If the already ones are expanded, they can employ more people, which is true. But it's also a fact that if the judiciary is expanded, okay, you mean the judicial system is expanded, by building in every district, it will not even be only more people that will be employed, but the justice system will also improve more. Until it starts, we cannot know how they are going to operate. But the whole idea is fantastic. If only it's not targeted on opponents, but justice surrender to all Ghanaians. Moro, in the early 80s, I was a missionary in Liberia, and they believed that justice must be done to all people. So there were courts everywhere in the community, even though there could be lapses. And that is what I think our friends in the MPP are talking about together. We can let it work for this country. Alaji Hamza from Pig Farm says, good morning. And he says, good morning, my brother. In fact, I'm sad and worried for my great party, the NDC. Truth be told, if care is not taken, this issue of who leads the NDC for election 2028 will destroy us. Already we are beginning to see the evidence out there in public domain. We should remember that we have a social contract with the good people of this country, and we must make sure we deliver. We should also remember that Ghanaians will judge us in 2028 elections based on the achievements and the promises that we have achieved in 2024. So it's about time we stop the attacks amongst ourselves and work hard to achieve our aim in 2028. Moreover, with regards to the 13th bid President Mahama, I blame some members of our party NDC because President Mahama has repeatedly said in public that he's not interested. So why go to the public to force him? Those behind his agenda are doing harm to him than good. To President Mahama and the NDC period, it is time they put a stop to it. Hassan Saudogo says that, the runaway economist who became an IT and later became field torture mate is advising JDM with the tribunal bill. NDC mentioned tribunal in their manifesto and Ghanaians voted for it, so they should implement the tribunal bill. Evo Hassan Ahmed from Tema. Hardy in Pig Farm says that, good morning, my brother. Tribunals work with facts as evidence for trials is meant to be to speed up trials for the benefits of the nation as a whole, to avoid delays from our legal system. Elsewhere in the world, there are tribunals in this legal system, both for civil and criminal proceedings. What is Dr. Mahmoud Bamia and his party scared of? What Dr. Bamia and his MPP were passing the E-levy and they didn't listen to the minority. Good morning to Dr. Ibrahim Mahama. Good morning to Madam Mama Pratt. Bring back Zoom Lion. As for him, he's on his advocacy. Yes, good morning. Good morning. So Ibi Mukhtar says, good morning. The MPP is all fixated and they lack principles. They've always been interested in spewing all manner of lies about others who stand against their whims and caprices, such as the NDC. These are the people that shouldn't be taken seriously at all. Ghana belongs to all Ghanaians and not the perceived few selected cabal as the elite ones with questionable PhDs. We can do better as a people. Mark Ojoboafo says, good morning, Moro. Can we liken the tribunals to the free SHS, which was a manifesto issue and was implemented by the MPP? The tribunals was also in the manifesto of the NDC, and he says, good show. Thank you very much. And Tafa in Amrahia says, good morning, Audu, and your guest, Audu. I respect Dr. Bamu's opinion on this issue, but I also believe that this tribunal will also help to fasten and to hasten some of the cases like Galamsey, Landguard, Saga, and other cases that stay in court for years without being dealt with by our court. Audu, Ghanaians have voted for President Mahama overwhelmingly, including giving him 2/3 of MPs to work with. So the MP's opinion doesn't matter. Of course, their opinions matter. Tafa, don't do that. It's a democracy. Their opinions do matter. Prince Henry from Koforidua, who is aspiring to become the NDC's regional communications officer. Fantastic guy. Fantastic. I've met him a few times. Dr. Mahmoud Bamia has really shown that he's not in touch with his own minority in parliament, because his minority and the committee unanimously approved the report in parliament. You must be a thief to run away from the police, and the NPP has shown to be there. Oh, come on. Don't do that. That's too harsh. The tribunal will also create employment if the NPP is not aware. God bless our homeland, Ghana. And I'm going to end with this before we're... So Carlos from Wododojojo says that, let me use this opportunity to commend you. Over the past 5 or 6 months, I've observed that you often pick stories from the Daily Guide for discussion. You're doing well in giving them attention. And that is why I want to commend you. Oh, yeah, you Carlos. You're my issue is with this tribunal matter. Why are they so why are they so afraid of? Is it because they believe they have embezzled public funds and mismanaged the country's resources? They think this government will use the tribunal to recover the money they allege they took. Since the regular court system is often slow and they believe they can take advantage of those delays, they fear that under the tribunal they may not have the opportunity and that the money could be recovered from them. That is why they are making so much noise. Where was about it? As for Dr. Mahmoud Bamia, where was he during the 8 years when he was in power? In my opinion, he now speaks for the sake of speaking. His statements no longer carry the same weight, and many Ghanaians do not pay much attention to them. It's only people like you who try to highlight his comments and keep them relevant. Oh, Charlie, why is giving it to me what I thought today? But many Ghanaians believe he's no longer politically relevant. Carlos, and I say, God bless you. Well, look at me, you can make me now. Carlos. Anyway, so Abdul Basit, I beg you just 1 second. Abdul Basit says that Alhaji Mora, your esteemed panelist, what a superb submission by my sister Amma. President Mahama is an accomplished Democrat and will not undertake any action that could tarnish his remarkable legacy. He is resolute in his conviction that 2 terms signify precisely 2 terms. Wow, there's plenty. So Alfred Kojo, hey, your message is very long. He says, I was shocked listening to Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bamia pleading with President Mahama not to assent to the tribunal bill. The chairman of the Judicial Committee is an NPP MP, and NPP MPs on that same committee voted unanimously for it. In any case, I'll check the Hansard and check this, because I've heard 2 different accounts of what happened in Parliament, so we'll check. In any case, why is the NPP scared of the tribunal bill? They should rest assured that we are no longer in the military rule. The president will definitely assent to this bill so it can achieve this purpose. In 2016, the NPP promised an office of the special prosecutor and created it, even though we already had Iyoko BNI and the Attorney General fighting corruption. Dr. Bamia and the NPP should stop wasting our ears. They are no more Ghanaians than all of us, than the rest of us. Alfred Kojo Trados, Deputy National Organizer, Aspirant. Alfred, great guy. Solid guy, Alfred Kojo Trados. And then let me end with this one. It's just 2 sentences. Musa Abata from Asawasi said the tribunal bill is a manifesto promise that deserves full support. Those who have done nothing wrong should have no reason to fear, as its purpose is to promote accountability, not persecute innocent people. The opposition's concerns are premature. The law should be allowed to take effect and be assessed based on its implementation. If any shortcomings emerge, they can be addressed through amendments. My regards to Dr. Aboba for aspiring National Vice Chairman of the NDC. Yes.
So the tribunals is more important than the 24. Okay. Is that what you're saying?
All right.
No, I don't understand.
So ladies, I'll give you a minute each.
What about it?
So in conclusion, because we have to do sports and the time is up. Yes.
Just to say that I understand the NPP's apprehension about numbers. Okay. You know, it does have a very minority in Parliament, and it tends to make it a little too apprehensive, you know, on issues that require, you know, numbers. The NPP lives in perpetual fear of this administration using its numbers to, you know, override decisions, but nothing in, you know, our present supports that assertion. There's nothing that this administration has done, this executive has done, to, you know, warrant this fear that the NPP seems to have. This administration has been, you know, very compliant with rules, you know, with processes, with the constitution. Okay. It has an overwhelming majority. Ghanaians give this administration overwhelming majority. But this government doesn't look on it as, you know, a weapon to be used against its opposing side at all. Okay. The government has been very careful to apply by the rules, by the constitution, and do things always minded by the Ghanaians. So again, rest. There's no issue. Nobody will weaponize numbers, and it comes up all the time. Even in what Dr. Mahmoud Baumia spoke about, he again referenced numbers. We are always hearing about numbers, and you would know nobody is going to be undemocratic, especially not an NDC, government. Rest. Okay. But also to say that these tribunals, right, at its heart, the fundamental basis of it is adversarial. Okay. It's important that we make that point very clearly. Not inquisitorial, right, as happened in the past. Okay. And this is in black and white. Okay. Adversarial processes require that at the very least you prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt. So again, the apprehension of the position that it will be used to jail our people. If your people have committed crimes, they will be jailed. But it won't be because it happened in a tribunal or it happened in a high court. Okay. It's just how things work. Okay. So instead of preoccupying yourself with an incoming doom that doesn't exist, how about we engage with the black and white of the bill and have conversations on what is in the bill and not our fears and project our fears, into the conversation.
All right. Laura.
Tomorrow, if Ama and the government want to make this conversation about numbers of the MPP in Parliament, then it's rather unfortunate and insensitive. Like I mentioned, Dr. Baumia amplified the concerns of TUC and GBA. If you want to ignore those voices just because Dr. Baumia has amplified it, and he has done his duty as someone who seeks or aspires to lead this nation, he has done his duty as a patriotic Ghanaian, will not sit down for the issue to degenerate or chaos to happen before he speaks up. Because I don't think he's aspiring to be president of this country or to be president of a chaotic country if he becomes president or when he becomes president. So if they want to make it about the MPP and its numbers, if because of the numbers, they think they can bulldoze their way through everything. It's the people's power you are wielding. If you listen to the people, it's up to you. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
On the issue of the concerns of the TUC, civil society organizations, legitimate. But all of those concerns came before the wedding. So I hope that the wedding has answered all the concerns that all of these organizations legitimately had. Okay, all right. So thank you, Ama and Laura, for joining us this morning. It's been wonderful talking to the two of you. It's been really, really, really interesting. A very interesting conversation we had this morning. Thank you. I hope next time Ama can confidently say her boss is interested in succeeding her boss. No, you are more interested in my boss succeeding than my boss is interested in succeeding. She should stop dancing around. Someone just said if they are not careful, it will destroy their party.
I'm not PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.